before I reached out to you, it sort of felt like, I don't know why, but it sort of felt like, okay, if I hire like a sleep consultant, that felt like to me like the last step in like trying to fix his sleep. At least like in the conversations I'd had with my husband, we were like, well, we can do this. We have master's degrees. Like we can figure this out. We can, it's just sleep. How hard can it be? So we're like, right, okay, what are the things that we can do on our own to try to fix this? And so we ended up getting the Happy Sleep, like Happy Baby, Happy Sleep book. I forget
The
who the
one
author
by
is.
Mark Weisbluth.
Yeah.
Healthy Sleep Habits, Happy Child.
So we got that book, and when you have a 4-month-old, trying to get through that book can be challenging.
Yes, that's
First
a
of all,
very like in-depth book. It's not
it's
easy to
dense.
read even when you're not tired.
Right. It's dense. So I remember us just trying to get to the parts of the book that we thought would be helpful, but like that only led us to be more confused. And so we are like, right, okay, we've got to just read it. But then when we did, I sort of felt like, okay, but how do I break this down into like very practical chunks, and what does that mean for him, and it how do I get him to actually put himself back to sleep, because that definitely seemed to be the issue. And also, when do I feed him, when do I do all of these different things? And so how do I troubleshoot if it's not going well? And to try to like troubleshoot with that giant book was just a lot. And it was super helpful, and I'm really glad I read it, just because it gave me more information on just like how sleep works. But it was difficult when you're trying to juggle all of the things as a new parent to break it down into something that you can actually like use on a day-to-day basis that makes sense for you. We did try to come up with a schedule and all of those things. And then on top of that, once we sort of got over a little bit overwhelmed with that, of like, it's, we're not really sure if we're giving him the right method in terms of trying to fall asleep. Like, how long is too long to let him cry? And if we're uncomfortable with that, what other options do we have? And just, I think that was the kind of tricky piece. So then we found an app online that allowed us to get like a sleep consultant's support, but it was a staff of sleep consultants. So you never really got the same person twice when you were asking questions. So they gave you basically all of this information that's basically what that book was, but broken down into schedules and feeding schedules and all the things that we thought that we needed, and packets of information on how to troubleshoot. But what I found in using that was, because I didn't get to talk to the same person every time, and because I was trying to troubleshoot, again, mostly on my own, but I didn't know how to help him basically fall asleep without me being in there, to the point where I felt like it was still okay and safe for both of us. So I just wasn't sure really what to do at that point. I remember texting my husband at work and just being like, this is no longer working. We're hiring a sleep consultant. Like, I can't do this anymore. So he was like, okay, that's fine. Like, if you really, like, we tried all the things we could think of and it still isn't working. So if you need that, go for it. So I was really lucky to have his like complete support of just, okay, we tried everything that we could and we gave it our best shot. So go for it. So I think I interviewed probably 8 other sleep consultants before I hired you. And by far, I was just impressed with how just sort of like relaxed you were about it, but still very knowledgeable. And also paying attention to what I was saying without making me feel like I was doing it wrong, or that I was embarrassed. I should be embarrassed about not being able to get him to go to sleep. And yeah, I just appreciated that sort of relaxed but informed approach that you took. And I felt like we would be partners in it. So I was excited about that. And I just remember getting really excited after I got off the phone with you. And I was like, I found her, we're going with this one. And I remember just saying like, okay, how soon can we do this?
Yeah.
So I landed on you and was so excited when I found you.
Knowing, like you went through all that stuff and then you reached out, do you wish that you had reached out to a sleep consultant earlier? Or are you kind of
Yes.
glad that you went through that process to learn a little bit?
I think I probably, as a new parent, had to learn the hard way of like what I actually needed. I think that if I could go back in time and talk to myself back then, I would say just skip all of the other stuff and just hire a sleep consultant. I think that when we have our next child, I'm gonna like probably bring you on board even